think we're working this week. Yay! Happy noon, everyone. So glad to see you out there. Welcome to our fourth Tuesday tune-up. Go ahead if you're out there, say hello, tell me where you're from, how's it going? It's a beautiful day here in Austin today. I hope you're outside if you're not here watching Facebook. And today we're going to talk about something, actually, you know what? I'm feeling kind of high strung. Let's take a minute to breathe. Okay, let's do that again. Deep breath in. Exhale. See, isn't that better? I feel so much better. You can just hear it in my voice even. We're going to be talking today about what to do when being stressed out is stressing you out. So if you're like me, you can kind of get in your head and you can be like, I know being stressed out is not good. And that causes even more stress because you know you're stressed. So let's stop that right now. Matter of fact, I might just need another breath thinking about it. I'm going to take one more breath. Okay, that's better. I think I got it under control now. We'll see. We might need to be breathing this whole video. We'll try not to. Let's define what stress is first. So stress is your body's way of reacting to harmful situations, whether they are real or imaginary. Not imaginary, perceived. Let's say perceived. So the stressful situation doesn't have to be real. Harmful situation doesn't have to be real to cause stress. That said, people react to situations in different ways. So we could have two people. I could have a friend sitting right here next to me, and we could be in the same situation, and only one of us might perceive it as stressful. So there's that. Even if we both did perceive it as stressful, we might react in very different ways. So stress affects everyone differently. Let's just get that out in the beginning. So what happens when you are stressed or when you have a perceived or real harmful situation coming your way? So your body, you may have heard or remember from biology back in junior high, the fight or flight response. So this is basically starts with a chemical hormone letting go and getting your body ready to fight or flight. So we have cortisol, epinephrine, and norepinephrine are the biggies. We're going to be talking mainly about cortisol in a little bit because that is one everyone likes to talk about right now. And I don't really want to get into the weeds on biology. But they kind of all, these cascade of hormones get started and result in increased blood pressure, heart rate, your muscles get tense, and your breathing, respiration rate goes up as well because your body is preparing you to either fight the tiger that's coming or run away from the tiger. So either way, your body needs to be ready to go. So in itself, this is a very helpful response. It's very good if you're confronted by a tiger. It's very good if someone slams the brakes on in front of you, right? Because it heightens your response time and maybe you can slam on the brakes quicker. It's great if you see your kid in the street about to get hit by a car. It might allow you to run out there a little quicker than you would have normally. Where we get into trouble is it's not that great if it's long-term steady stress. And unfortunately, our body does not know the difference between a tiger about to pounce on us in the jungle and just having a bad day at work and getting stuck in lousy traffic again. So different situations, still viewed as harmful, rather than that real or perceived, harmful situations that we need to react to. So if we're focused just on this long-term stress, because remember the short-term stress is good, let's look at why that chronic long-term stress is not so good. And here we get to go back to our friend cortisol, which again, everyone loves to talk about these days. What cortisol does when it's released is it brings up your blood sugar because it gets you ready. Who knows what your muscles are going to need? We need to get the fuel going. We need to get everything going, get you in that hyper vigilant state. It also depresses your immune system. Not so great, but it doesn't want to waste any energy on taking care of yourself in other ways than to get you away from the tiger or prepare you to fight. So what happens in the short term is it gets you through the fight or gets you away or not, and then it really doesn't matter. But in the long term, your body starts to go, oh my gosh, this cortisol level is still high. I'm still in this very scary situation. I don't know when it's going to resolve. So I'm going to start packing that, storing energy because this is going on for a long time. I might need it later. You also have that increase in blood sugar that is continuously circulating through your body. Hey there. So you have that increased blood sugar, which also increases your levels of insulin. And again, I'm not going to get into the weeds, but I'm going to put in the links. I have a sugar talk coming up where we get into this a little more seriously. But that increase in insulin in your body is going to result in less fat being burned, and it's going to result in more sugar cravings. And so basically, you've seen these people that are kind of chronically stressed. Um, they have skinny arms, skinny legs, and maybe these big bellies. And that's kind of an indication that they have that chronic level of low-lying stress that they're not dealing with, or they have a medical issue. But anyway, back to stress. The last thing I want to say about the cortisol levels being up is you don't have to have the belly fat to have the visceral fat. So you could have that chronic low level stress still packing on the fat around your organs in your abdomen. So it doesn't necessarily always have to push the belly out. It could still be in there lurking. You just might not look like it, right? So we should all pay attention to stress, um, so we don't stress out about it. If that even makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. All right. What are the symptoms of stress? So it's funny because if you have been in the other videos on dehydration or sleep deprivation, there's a lot of the same symptoms. So assuming you are getting a good night's sleep and you are well hydrated, and assuming you've been to your physician for a regular physical or exam, then you might want to consider stress if you're having any of these symptoms. So easily agitated, frustrated, or moody, feeling overwhelmed, headaches, low energy, insomnia, forgetfulness, inability to focus. What? No, I'm kidding. Okay, that was a stupid joke. Inability to focus, changes in appetite, increased use in drugs, alcohol, and I'm going to add sugar to this because that's my go-to when I'm stressed. Some different symptoms that may distinguish it a little bit from just sleep deprivation or dehydration include avoiding others or avoiding social situations that you would normally do. So not that all of a sudden you're not going out on the party circuit, but maybe you had a weekly dinner with friends and you just can't handle it anymore. Frequently getting sick or getting colds, that's a sure sign of a suppressed immune system. And then constant worrying or fretting is another sign of being stressed. So ongoing stress, that chronic low level stress, we already talked about the belly fat a little bit, but it can also lead to severe mood disorders such as depression or anxiety. And of course, there is heart attack, heart disease, and stroke, which it can also lead to. So really good that we get a handle on this. When I was trying to do some research on this, I found a really cool monkey study. And just to show you how important stress is, apparently there is a hierarchy in monkey colonies, and I guess that makes sense. You have the high social monkeys, and then you have the ones that are at the low end of the totem pole, so to speak. And these monkeys that are at the low end of the social structure are habitually stressed. It's a very stressful place to be if you're a monkey. And what they did is they gave this group of monkeys all the same diet. And they found that the monkeys, even though they were all eating the same high fat diet, the monkeys that were chronically stressed were more likely to have increased belly fat and have blocked arteries. They got their arteries blocked much quicker. And this is all, even though they were the same weight, same BMI, same diet, same, everything was the same. They were just more habitually stressed. So that is why it's so important to pay attention to stress. So what can we do if we are stressed? How can we manage it? There's two ways to think about managing stress. There's active ways and inactive. Let's talk about inactive first. This is my least favorite way to manage stress, but it might work on the short term for some people. This is like scrolling through Facebook or binge watching a show or playing video games. What I don't like about that is it might short term reduce the stress, but unless you have some way of checking yourself, it could cause long term stress. We've all had the experience where we got all this stuff we want to get done. Oh, look what's happening to so and so. And next thing you know, 2 hours have gone by and we haven't gotten anything done, and it's even more stressful. So I tend to prefer the active forms of stress reduction. prefacing all this stress reduction, if it's out of control, if it's impacting your daily life, you might want to check with a counselor first, right? Assuming you've had a medical exam and all that other stuff. So checking with a counselor is your first defense if it's severe for dealing with stress. Another one is regular physical activity. This, however, can be stressful as well. So I want you to think between a stressful workout and a more relaxing walk in the woods kind of thing. Intense workouts can make you feel exhausted and therefore stress reduced at the end, but it's still a physical stress on your body. Going out in the woods, maybe doing, I know yoga can be stressful or not, so maybe doing a lighter type of yoga, something like that. Think about it more as intense workouts are not so much what I would choose for stress reduction versus light physical activity, preferably outside. Outside is great. They've done studies where even just looking at trees can help bring down blood pressure and stress levels. There's also all kinds of relaxation techniques. There's Tai Chi, there's deep breathing, meditation, yoga, mindfulness, mindful breathing, perhaps, if that works for you. All kinds of relaxation techniques you can take up. Also, having a strong support structure has been shown to help people deal with stress. And this doesn't mean that your friends have to solve all of your problems, right? But just knowing that your friends or family is there can make a huge difference in how you perceive the harmful situation approaching, because you know someone's got your back. If all else fails, someone's going to be there for you. And anyway, that can help stave off stress. An interesting study I just saw was on Facebook, and they only looked at women, so sorry, guys. But what they found is that women had stress reduction by posting photos on Facebook. They were able to bring down their stress levels because it was helping them build some of those social connections. However, once they started seeing what their friends were doing, it kind of increased stress because especially empathetic responses. So, oh my gosh, so-and-so just had their father die, or so-and-so has cancer. Or that it kind of added to the stress by worrying about all of these people in their circle. So Facebook can be stress reducing and it can be stress creating, according to that study. Same thing with Instagram and any social media. So our takeaways from this is stress is important to deal with if it's chronic, low-level stress. We like the short-lived stress because it helps us survive. We don't necessarily like the chronic low-level stress. We don't want the belly, we don't want the belly fat and all that's going on in the organs. Things you can do: seek professional help from a counselor, regular physical activity as long as it's relaxing, other relaxing techniques like mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing, and then making sure you have a strong support system to help you, again, not solve all your stressful problems, because you might actually diminish your support system if you rely on them too heavily to fix all your problems. But just to know that they're there and to know that you have someone there for you. So that is it on how to deal with stress and how to not let stress you out. I look forward to seeing you back next Tuesday at noon for our 5th video. And I will see you then. Look in the notes in the comments below for a link to register for my upcoming sugar talk and how to kick the sugar habit. And we'll get more into depth on the whole insulin, blood sugar level thing. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.